Hey, welcome to Craft Central Designs. My name is Dwynn, and today I'm sharing with you this lovely gnome spring lavender wreath with beautiful orchids and purples, framed by a very pretty white poly deco mesh. Welcome to my current subscribers, and welcome as well to all. Please consider subscribing if you are new to my channel, and hit the like button if you like my content. And as well, leave your comments in the comment box below. I love receiving your comments. Okay, let's get busy making this beautiful gnome lavender spring wreath. Let's talk about the materials that we're going to need for this wreath. I purchased 2 rolls of soft poly deco mesh at Hobby Lobby. It's 50% off every other week. It's 10 inches wide, 6 yards per roll. You'll need 2 full rolls. I saw this sign on Amazon, and the minute I saw it, I knew I had to make a wreath with this adorable sign. I purchased a 14-inch wire wreath frame at Dollar Tree. You'll also need pipe cleaners as well as a pair of scissors. I purchased 2 ribbons, only one of which I actually ended up using, which was the gingham check, and I purchased this beautiful ribbon at Michael's. Every other week, Hobby Lobby has their florals 50% off. I purchased this bundle with lavender and little purple flowers, as well as some greenery. Okay, let's get this wreath frame ready to apply the deco mesh. This sign takes up a majority of this wreath frame, as you can see, so we're only going to be utilizing the outer 2 spaces of the wreath form. And to those, we're going to apply the deco mesh. Now, this technique that I'm going to use, I call it the weaving method. I did a tutorial on this. You could find it in my list of videos. It's a very slow, methodical explanation of how I do this particular technique of applying deco mesh to a wreath frame. From the underside, we're going to attach the end of that deco mesh with those pipe cleaners to the crossbar. And from the underside of this wire wreath frame, we're going to begin applying the deco mesh in loops. Notice how I pulled the deco mesh up through the wreath space. And now we are going to alternate back and forth from the outer space to the inner space, outer to inner. Now we're going to go to the inner space, push the deco mesh up through there, fan it out with your fingers, form your loop, press it down up against the other loops. This way you get a nice, full, tight application so that you don't see any wires through your deco mesh. We're going back and forth between those 2 spaces. And when you push your deco mesh up through there and you form your loop, it naturally catches on the wire and then it's secure. You don't need the pipe cleaners. Again, refer to the tutorial. It will really help you with this method. Bring it up through the space. Form your loop, fan out your deco mesh, and then push it down I think this deco mesh is so beautiful because it reminds me of a heavy lace. I think it's just beautiful application. When it's all through, it's just beautiful. And remember, you're going back and forth from one space to the others. If you do not go from one space to the other, you will quickly know that you made an error because you will not be able to form the loop. It is that wire underneath that holds the previous loop while you're forming the new one, if that makes sense. Open up your loop, press it down. Beautiful. Now you can see that sign is going to take up a lot of space on that wreath, and that's why you're keeping your loops at a size that that sign will be able to fit in there. You don't want your loops really, really big. Okay, here we have that application of deco mesh. 2 full rolls, absolutely beautiful. And we are going to take our sign now and insert it in the center. Now, you're going to see that I'm going to be pulling away the deco mesh from the center to allow that sign to just fit down very snug inside of there. This deco mesh is very compliant. That probably sounded weird, but it conforms very well to the way that you want it to rest on your wreath. We want that gingham check around the outer perimeter of that sign as well to show. So really pull your deco mesh back so that you can see that gingham check as well. Now there's 2 little holes at the top of this sign. We're going to feed a pipe cleaner through those holes of each of those 2 holes, and that's how you're going to have an extra means of securing your sign to the wreath frame. You're just going to feed those pipe cleaners right through the deco mesh. Locate that wire down inside of there. That deco mesh is very snug on there. If you use 2 full rolls, you will have to search for the wire. It's very packed very tightly on that wreath frame. Okay, so we have our sign all secure inside of there. We've pushed back our deco mesh. Now we are going to be embellishing the inner side of the wreath between the sign and the deco mesh with little lavender, pieces of lavender and little purple flowers. And later you'll see as well just a touch of greenery. But this is just going to be an embellishment to bring out the purples and orchids in that sign. We're going to bring it all the way around the perimeter of that sign between the deco mesh and the sign. But first, we're going to create the hanger. So you're going to cut a piece of ribbon, I want to say around 10 to 12 inches. It depends on how long of a hanger you want. That will be hanging your wreath, if I can speak, sorry. It depends on how long you want your hanger. And you'll understand more what I mean by this in a bit. But first I want to feed that ribbon through the between the sign and the deco mesh. I'm going to feed that through there because I want that ribbon inserted before I start applying the flowers. I'm just going to pull that up through there. This is going to be our wreath hanger. I'm sorry, my hand's a little out of frame there. Oh, but here we go. Okay, so now we're going to pull that deco mesh around that ribbon. See how I manipulate the deco mesh? I just want that ribbon to be poking out or peeking out of that deco mesh. Okay, so now we have that applied. Later you'll see we'll also be attaching a bow to that hanger. But for now, we're going to continue and we're going to apply the lavender and the little purple flowers all around the inner perimeter of that wreath. We're going to use hot glue to apply that. When you insert the lavender and the little purple flowers, you're going to do it right in between the sign and the deco mesh. You will see the flowers and the lavender peeking out from the deco mesh. But we just want a nice subtle application of the lavender and the purple flowers to bring out the purples in the sign. Now this takes a bit of time to apply all those little floral pieces, but it's worth it because in the end, as you will see, it's just beautiful. A little difficult to see them in there, but once you have it completed, you'll see my reasoning for wanting to have that little embellishment on the inside. All right, so now you can see those flowers. So beautiful. Now we also wanted to apply just a bit of this greenery, and I absolutely love this filler greenery they sell at Hobby Lobby. To me, it looks like just a very fine little delicate fern. It just adds the prettiest touch to a wreath or a floral arrangement. And there's a little bit of green in that sign, and I wanted to bring that out as well. And I want just that greenery to just kind of be peeking up from the deco mesh. And as well, you'll have to apply each of those little pieces of greenery with hot glue. And here you have it. And you see how pretty that is? Just a beautiful embellishment to place around the perimeter of that sign. And now as well, I'm going to take some of those little purple flowers that we have left over in the bundle, and just here and there, applying those to the wreath. As you can see, I'm spreading them out here and there, balancing where I place them. And again, hot glue to attach those. It's so beautiful. And now you can see we have all the little tiny purple flowers applied to the wreath. Okay, back to the hanger. Now it's up to you how long you want your hanger, but the part that you see there where I have the ruler, I usually do my wreaths around 5 to 6 inches in length when I use a hanger of this nature. I wrap the pipe cleaner around, and then with the leftover pipe cleaner, I create a loop. And this is how we were going to hang the wreath from the hook or the nail, wherever you're hanging the wreath. So we're going to cut off the excess there. And this loop will very adequately support the weight of that wreath, which is quite light, actually. Okay, now we're going to make the bow that we're going to apply to the hanger. Now I have 3 bow tutorials on my list of videos. I'm going to recommend that you watch them if you would like to learn to make bows like I do. This is not a bow tutorial here, but I'm going to urge you to look at all 3 of my bow tutorials. They're very informative. We're making, for this particular project, a 4-loop bow. We apply a pipe cleaner, twist it in the back, and then we're going to have 1 single loop going right down the center. And I'll take the pipe cleaner from the back, stick it through that single loop, pull it around, give it a twist. And now we have a 4-loop bow with a single loop down the middle. And I cut that tail off from the spool. And I'm going to feed that tail right through the center of that loop. Again, watch my tutorials on how to make a bow. I think you'll be happy when you learn this technique. All right, so I'm going to angle my tails, which I typically do on my bows. Now we are going to attach that bow to the hanger. We're going to be wrapping that pipe cleaner around the hanger, but first I put a dab of glue there, but be careful here. Let it dry a little bit before you go to twist those pipe cleaners, because this is a great way to get burnt if you're not careful. Trust me, I've done it. Okay, so we twist that nice and secure. Now your bow is attached to your hanger. Cutting off the excess. You got your loop there to hang the wreath. And oh my gosh, this is a beautiful wreath. Look at that. Love, love. Okay. This is it. One beautiful wreath. I hope you love it. Let me know how you like this wreath in the comment box. And until next time, you take care.